decades, humanity has reported encounters with the unknown. Lights in the sky, craft beyond our understanding, and programs hidden in the shadows. Now, the truth may finally be emerging. This is the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
All right, we got that beat going. Welcome, everybody, to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. I am your host, Adam. Today is June 14th, 2026. I'm here in the Pacific west of the United States. And today, Topher is not with us today. He is traveling. So hopefully he'll be here next week. Today, we got Nick and Syd from Bitcoin Live. It's been a while, guys.
We are back.
Good to have you.
Yeah, after a very long time. I think
it's been too long.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely. It's been more than a month, I think.
Yeah,
but
more than a month. Yeah.
You know, it's summer. It's hard to get schedules set with everyone.
Exactly.
So it is understandable. We all have plans and all that stuff. But it's great you guys are on the show. We have a new third tranche of the UFO disclosure files from the White House. There's some good stuff in there. Again, we're still waiting for what we would call disclosure, which is, that we, not just that aliens and biologics are real, but that we've captured these craft and reverse engineered them. That will be disclosure. That's what we're waiting for.
That's the only disclosure. Everything else is just like...
Exactly, yeah.
What we will say is just like giving people something to hang on, but that's not disclosure.
Right, exactly, and we can just see there's a war going on within the government. There are factions that do not want to release this, and there are factions that want to release this. There are also factions that want to control the narrative, which we will see. And of course, why wouldn't you want to control this narrative? It is very powerful, and you could use it to your own ends and your own means.
Yeah, and also people think and live in narratives, right? I mean.
Yes.
You always have an interpretation of events. If you and me and Syd see something happening, we will all have a different story about what happened, right? So those are narratives.
True.
Doesn't make them true.
Exactly, and so they're trying to create what the objective narrative is of this entire thing. But if it is real and it really is extraterrestrials and from different planets or different galaxies, that means the possibilities are infinite. So there really isn't one narrative, right? Or a couple narratives. It's probably super weird, super interesting. And that's why each, throughout the decades, it's all different crafts, different beings, different messages. Or some people would say it's the same phenomenon and then just reacting to different people observing it, and because those are different minds, different perspectives, like you said, then it's a different story and a different narrative. Could be that as well.
Could be all.
But there is a high chances that they are trying to do Project Blue Beam right now.
Yeah,
this is all just a sham to confuse people, and eventually we will be their slaves again. We are already, but we will be officially their slaves. Right now, we are unofficial slaves.
Well, there's this really interesting discussion going on, which you guys probably also see it with especially Christian groups who are taking a stand against this whole disclosure movement, and they're sort of really approaching it from a very Christian narrative. Which is very interesting. I find it very fascinating, and they're agitating against the movie Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg and saying that he's rewriting the Gospels or the message of God.
Yeah, and when I remember when the first tranche came out, all these pastors came out. We did cover on the show. We showed all their clips, and they were approached by the White House and by the administration, and there was a plan, but it was scrapped. But the plan was basically to come out and say that God is not real, that aliens created us, and that they're here, basically, kind of thing. But that was scrapped. And all those ministers were kind of scared of that. They were trying to get they were told to get their quote unquote flock ready for disclosure about these beings. Yeah, and they've had all these discussions about it. And that is part of, I would say, half of the problem with disclosure is religion, right? It's always been that. It's always been because the elite have always used religion to control humanity.
Yeah, right? Project Bluebeam. I mean, when Syd and me did Project Bluebeam, we did like 3 episodes. Yeah. One of the most fascinating aspects of Project Bluebeam that I wasn't aware of was actually the idea of a one world religion, right?
Yeah.
Creating a new religion. And,
yes.
and we talked about that back then, and that is, becoming a real thing. So actually, my next article, I was writing Disclosure, which I'm still gonna finish. And then I got distracted by conversations with 2 friends of mine, who basically told me, "Hey Nick, there's nothing to worry about. Don't worry, it's all fine." And then I wrote my last piece, up at night, which is a really cool piece, actually.
Yes, it is. It's an excellent piece. I really enjoyed it.
But now I'm thinking actually my new article will push disclosure out even further, just like in reality, and it will focus on religion and disclosure, which will be fun.
Yeah, I mean that is a big deal, and actually, we'll talk about this later on the show, and how I think the White House putting Avi Loeb ahead of this advisory board is just that, and I've said for years, and I've concluded for years when I was just looking into this, like, why won't they release this? It has to do with who runs the world, and their agenda, and if disclosure could dismantle their entire chosenness narrative, right, or it could help it. So that's what is going on. They're going to try to hijack this narrative just to continue and help their narrative go along. Let's not forget that Avi Loeb has written essays about their Messiah from space. So that's who they've put in charge. Okay, so this guy, he's a religious Jew. He's not just a scientist.
Yeah,
and he's always conflated the two, and he's going to do that in this position that he's going to hold.
Yeah, 100%. That's why they are actually attacking Christianity and Islam as well. Like, we can see these 2 religions are being attacked because the prophecies in these 2 religions dismantle this whole narrative about world government because of the presence of Antichrist. You don't find the character like Antichrist in any other religion. It's only two religion, and all the prophecies are warning that Antichrist will come, disprove the religion and declare himself the creator. This is exactly what we are seeing. So that's why I will say to all the Christian pastors out there, do not give in. Even though they give you any kind of evidence or proof, whatever, do not fall for it. It's all a scam, and they are trying to fool you. And if you submit to them, you are submitting to Antichrist.
Yes, I agree. Probably the Christian religion and then Islam next are probably the strongest ones to be to guard against what this plan is.
The problem with not the problem, like with Islam, the story is the Muslims are generally very stupid, especially the religious one. They are not going to fall for anything. So I think these guys in the government, they realize that. That's why they are not saying that. They are attacking Islam in different way. But they know the pastors of Islam, the mullahs, they are stupid. They will never follow this whole alien thing. And I can see that because when I go there, nobody's buying that. Christians are more intelligent in the sense that they are acceptable of the science. So they might fall for it. And I'm glad that some of the Christian pastors are taking a stand. I think sometimes we need stupidity.
I agree.
We need ignorance. People.
Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
Especially in these days.
Well, good. So let's do this. Let's for the audience, let's go through some of the documents that came out in the tranche, and then we can also go through the videos, discuss those, and then we can get to what's happening with the White House and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. It's from 1948. And it's from the 1948 Navy memo that was released. So this is from Commandant 5th Naval District, activities indicated in distribution list. The subject is flying discs. This is from Chief of Naval Operations, right? Subject flying disc. 1. The Director of Intelligence, U.S. Air Force, has informed the Navy Department that a cycle of reappearance of flying discs is becoming apparent, and that the beginning of a new interval is imminent. They have requested that any such sightings be reported as quickly as possible and that these phenomena be investigated. 2, it is requested, therefore, that all stations be directed to report to the nearest Air Force Command and to the Naval District Intelligence Office any reported sightings of flying discs or other unidentified aerial objects. It is desired also that photographic evidence of the phenomenon to be obtained whenever possible. So this was a great drop. This is not a document that's been released before, to my understanding.
Yeah,
so,
this is the first one.
Yeah, very
this
important.
Is the first time I'm listening to it.
Yeah, 1948. So it just shows that this was a very important subject.
Just 1 year after Roswell, Mexico, by the way.
Exactly. It said August, so a year after that. And then I don't know if you guys have seen this one from January 1958. It's a CIA memo.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, we have contacted Dr. Davidson by telephone, advising him that we cannot resolve his problem concerning the space message and its transmitter because records on the matter have been destroyed by the evaluating agency. Davidson. So basically, they had a message from space, and they destroyed it. Davidson accepted.
Evaluating agency.
yeah. Like we don't know who they're talking about.
Exactly.
So why would they now? If it is national security and you are receiving a message from a higher intelligence, I would understand why they would want to destroy it if they think it's malevolent activity or trickery or something like that, right? It's like
in
when
both cases you need to save it, right? If they're malevolent, that's fine, that's a good message. If they are malevolent, then you need to actually prepare yourself.
Save it. Yeah.
No, prepare for what they are trying to do. Like, it's stupid.
It is.
By the way, they didn't. Nobody's believing that they destroyed it. They still have it.
Of course, yeah, I agree with you. There's no way. They definitely lied to this person. Reference telephone conversation disclosed that there is nothing in the record to show that Davidson knew he was dealing with the agency in his contacts. But yeah, and this was from 1958. It just shows how long our government has been active in this and how seriously they've taken it. And it is most likely the foundation of this entire empire. And why wouldn't it be? Right? It's like,
and I think also with the destruction of the message, right? I mean, I am of the opinion that if you have like one NHI, you probably have multiples, like a plural of different.
Yes.
So maybe we are run by one NHI and they got a message from the opposing team and they destroyed it, right? Because it's not, doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So alleged
no, but also
message.
they're trying to promote one narrative that there are 4 species, which is weird on Fox News to see that they are trying to say that there are 4 distinguished species out there. I used to believe that before it was popularized by the government. Now I'm skeptical of that.
We're the same, man. I'm like getting bored of disclosure because like everyone is talking about it. I'm like, and I should be actually happy that we're here, right? Because we're trying to push for it. But it just feels more chaotic than ever.
The benefit of it's the same with crypto and Bitcoin. When you're when you're the first, you can sort of build your own narrative, right? You don't have any other people sort of yelling in your ear while you're doing it. But once it sort of gets mass adoption, then suddenly you have to compete with other narratives out there and people with better platforms and louder voices. And that's the same with UFOs, right? We used to be fringe. And it was just a few channels here and there, and now everybody's talking about it.
Absolutely, everyone, right? And that's a good point. And then there's great shows out there, highly produced, well-written shows, right, talking about the subject. When before it was just fringe researchers.
What's that?
This is one of the videos apparently from the Department of War.
Oh, this is a released one from. Okay,
oh wow! Yeah. So this one, it looks like it's becoming like a triangle.
Yeah.
None of these are super clear, and some of them are recreations. Like the FBI did an investigation to a few, and people didn't say that. This one.
They mentioned that the FBI agents actually saw these orbs from very close by from a helicopter or something.
These ones? Wait, March 2022, approximately 1920 local time, northeastern United States. An eyewitness observed 2 bright red luminous light sources hovering near the horizon at an estimated distance of 2,500 feet. Both luminous objects maintained generally stationary positions throughout the encounter. All right, so just lights. It's cool when the FBI looks into this because that's literally X-Files.
Uh-huh.
How do we get those jobs?
Yeah. To be honest, they should hire us. We will be very good investigator compared to these guys. Yeah.
I agree. The government is investing or spending $1.5 trillion into the defense budget. I think they should allocate like $100 million to UFO podcasters, researchers.
10 million is enough for UFO podcasters.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they're already doing that.
No, but that's not like
Maybe.
Independent one, right? They are the bot one. We are talking about like independent and fair researchers, podcasters.
Man, even $1 million. Could you imagine $1 million budget? What you could do with the studio and yeah.
But they are making Avilov a billionaire for some reason.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
Yeah,
he wants $1 billion.
What's that? This is too bright, man.
Yeah, this is. It looks like it's in the clouds. Let's see here. This is 2024, 651. Plasma-like sphere is also FBI. The subject matter described. All right. So this is another FBI footage.
Yeah, FBI is more involved than we ever thought. Because before this whole disclosure, like so-called disclosure, I never thought that FBI will be involved in that. But the amount of documents and videos are coming out from FBI, I'm surprised. And I thought it's more of a CIA's alley.
And it also proves that Arrow was lying, right? Because
of course.
Look at all these files.
This man, Kirkpatrick is such a lying loser. Oh, yeah. Look how they're moving perfectly together. Yeah. Almost like it's one craft, right? That we can't see.
Yeah. But it doesn't surprise me that the FBI is involved. I mean, you see these orbs all over the place, right? They have been cited for years by hundreds of people. Then, it's like the X-Files. The FBI gets called in these special cases.
And from the beginning, the FBI has been involved, right? Since the early 40s with Hoover, he was obsessed with UFO reports. Like you said, X-Files. What's that show? Twin Peaks, even. Those guys are FBI.
Yes.
Why he's pointing it down? But by the way, this could be these could be drones as well, because they are not connected because they're moving in different speeds. They could be drones. I'm not saying they are, but like if I have to give an explanation, I can say that.
But from what year are these?
So wait, the eyewitness then began recording the event using an iPhone. Okay, capturing the
iPhone 14 Pro, so it's recent.
Okay.
So why would the FBI care? The spouse of the witness came outside. Brilliant. Oh, they're saying here, the spouse also witnessed the light, describing it as a brilliant red sphere about 1 meter in diameter. The center of the red sphere appeared to be a white plasma sun about the size of a basketball. Okay, so we're not really seeing that in the video.
He's just describing it. This could be anything.
And then, so this is a recreation, apparently. This is not the actual video. The FBI
How much money they
this.
spent on recreation? Oh my god! By the way, this recreation, I have seen it. Like not the recreation, but like light like that, which appears.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's so bright and then suddenly disappeared. The only difference is this looks orange, and I've seen the white one. Was pure. White.
It's like a pulse. It pulses.
It pulses, but it's pulsing multiple times. I've just seen it pulsing one time.
Oh,
for 10
this
seconds.
one. This is the one that created smaller orbs. Have you ever seen that where actually smaller orbs come out? So
no. I just seen the main one, not the smaller one coming out.
So that's like a portal then, because once the portal is in, these things like come out of it and then it disappears and they continue.
Yeah, it could, because the way it opened in my area.
Yeah.
First of all, I was stunned. I couldn't even take my phone out. You know, when you're stuck out of something, like not even fear, but stunned. And I was just looking. It appears like that out of nowhere. and it was so bright and then disappeared. It was brighter than the brightest day of Venus star.
You're kidding me. That's really bright.
Yeah. It was nighttime, and I think I was getting the light on my face. Glare on my glasses.
Did you feel heat? Did you feel heat or anything?
No. It was just like so bright, it wasn't I wasn't feeling like getting the light. It was the glare on my glasses. So it was too bright that it could have a glare on my glasses. It was exactly like that around that time. Because I think it's open for 10 seconds, and it was open for 10 seconds.
Where were you? Were you in the mountains or something, or just outside your house?
But I live in the mountains, so I live on the hill. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm sure you see a lot of stuff then.
Yeah, that's why I see a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So that was an artistic interpretation of a reported incident near a sensitive national security site in the western United States involving UAP over a period of 2 days in 2023. The digital recreation is based upon a first-hand description provided by a federal law enforcement special agent. The FBI prepared this digital recreation at the request. So really cool. Very cool. So these are all the witnesses are federal agents, which is probably why the FBI is taking it seriously. Is this the same thing? Yep. Artistic interpretation of another incident. Look at these orbs moving. Or it could be one
better information
than
that. So for people who are who are new to this, it's cool that the government's doing this because it's showing how serious they take it, and they've been lying this entire time.
Yeah, well, let's hear it.
Also the NASA stuff.
From the astronauts.
It's 1 hour long. We can't listen to it. I thought it was like a clip, but it's a long one.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There was one about a base. Wait, is this it? Makes an offhanded comment. Could be an alien star base. Okay, 32 minutes 41. Thank you, John Greenwald.
Oh my god, that's from NASA.
There's no gravity on the backside. Nation goes up to plus or minus 11. So we saw one over Korolev, and Stein crater is located right about here. It's not too big. Okay, next map shows a compilation of a lot of these linear profiles. Next slide, into a contour map. It's a little hard to read the contours. You can see this big black blotch here is a result of contours stacked on top of each other near this Van de Graaff anomaly. You can see the numbers are hard to make out. You can see the structure over Korolev, a hint of some structure over Hertzsprung, and the Southern Sea over here is actually an enhancement, sticking out of the moon, so to speak. You can see Milne shows a definite structure. Now the Apollo 16 results should enable us to expand this map. We'll get better resolution throughout this area and be able to extend it along in here. We'll probably still have a gap down in this region.
Can you give some idea of the gradient you're measuring there?
Oh, yes. Okay. The numbers presented in the chart, if you can see them, are measured in tenths of gamma at an altitude of 100 kilometers. So, for example, a good representative value is about 30. And the 0 we've arbitrarily chosen at the bottom of the Van de Graaff dip, since this is the lowest value of magnetism we observed. We just called it 0 and scaled everything relative to it. So if you're at 100 kilometers, you'll see a 3 gamma dip going over Van de Graaff on the average. Oh, we were fortunate. Also, the near side of the moon.
Does the gravity profile have any? Can you correlate?
I've looked at the gravity profile, and it doesn't seem to correlate at all.
We don't.
Actually, the laser data correlates better with. There's no gravity on the backside. Okay, but on the front side.
Understand.
It correlates pretty well with the laser data, which shows great big hole here in the backside of the moon around Van de Graaff. That's where we get our big hole, but I can't see any scientific justification for connecting the two results.
I will add, they remind you the gamma ray.
Yes, that's true.
Secondary peak is also at Van de Graaff. I don't know what it means.
Could be an alien star base or something.
There it is, an alien star base. So yeah, that's cool. I guess it's an astronaut going through pictures and images that they took on the far side of the moon.
Sorry, just to be clear, this is an official report from NASA. People were
Yes.
talking about that in NASA briefing. And do
Exactly.
we have the name of the person who's talking?
No. The speaker.
But someone important, I guess.
This debriefing includes presentation from principal investigators of various Apollo experiments. The principal investigators describe preliminary results of their work to educate the Apollo crews. Yeah, but it is, you're right. I mean, it is an official NASA presentation.
Yeah. And he's saying there is no gravity on the backside of the moon, and there is a big hole and alien base. So audience can hear what they said.
It was kind of like an offhand remark, right?
Yeah.
The way he said it.
Yeah. He said it looks like a star base.
Yeah.
So it's not like a confirmed thing, but they say that, that's what it looks like.
No, but something is there, right? It looks like a star base. There is a hole. He mentioned specifically that there is a hole on the other side and there is no gravity. But I don't think there is gravity there is gravity, but it's not that much anyway, right? On the moon.
It's 1962. Journalist Walter Cronkite. He interviewed Gordon Cooper, of course, the famous Gordon Cooper, who even photographed. He had a video crew, and he recorded a landing of a saucer in the 60s at some base, and the videos were confiscated. But yes, that Gordon Cooper. So here he's being interviewed by Cronkite. Let's take a listen.
Gordo, you expressed interest at one time in unidentified flying objects, the feeling that there might be something to all these stories. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I feel that there have been a large number of fairly well qualified, or exceptionally well qualified, I should say, people who have seen objects that have not had any really logical explanation other than this. I think that maybe, in fact, each and every one of them does have an explanation. But I think that there are so many possibilities, so many thousands of possibilities of other planets out somewhere in the universe that would have a livable atmosphere, that I would hate to rule out the possibility that maybe there are people or some type of human life on some of these. And if this is the case, then it's not too unfeasible to think that perhaps some of these objects might have been something of this type.
You don't think that the comparatively short step out into space that the Mercury flight will take you on is far enough out to make any observations in this area?
No, I think we're still at a fairly low order of getting out into space when you speak of space and being millions of miles involved, and we're only getting out 100 miles or so.
What about the so-called Glenn effect, Gordo? The snowflakes, the fireflies. Now both Schirra and Carpenter seem to feel that it's frost of some nature off of the capsule, but apparently Glenn still sort of cast doubt on that theory.
Oh, it doesn't continue too bad. He called him Gordo instead of Cooper. Funny. All right, so that was mostly everything that was dumped on Friday. Nothing crazy, cool stuff. Of course, Ross Coulthard goes and tells us about videos that are unreleased, which are pretty insane.
Yeah, we want to see that. Until that, these are nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, they're nothing.
If I'm a debunker, I can debunk each and every single
100%.
one of them. Yeah,
100%.
But I think we talked about it last time. That first of all, I think we all agree that it's to some extent that all this is orchestrated, right? Over the past few years, we have been building up to this moment.
Yeah,
and I think now that they're sort of starting to release this stuff, you also have to start with baby steps at first before you can make big jumps. So these are sort of, I see it like appetizers and teasers for the uninitiated to get acquainted.
There's the word uninitiated. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget who rules this world, right? It's the occult, it's the secret societies, and they're all about initiation, right? And giving knowledge slowly until you reach certain levels. So it does seem like they're using that type of tactic, where
I could have bought this narrative back in 80s if I was alive there, but in 2026, everybody knows about it. Everyone is ready. I think this is bullshit narrative that we have to initiate. Everyone is initiated. They just need to release it because until now, not a single surprise happened. Nobody said, "Oh my God," no one.
No, but
I mean, the mainstream news are being like a lot of those anchors are really shocked. You can see them, right?
They are anchors. They are pretending to get more ratings. They are not surprised. Yeah,
I think you have to not underestimate how inundated we are. You, me, Adam. We've been in the field for so long. I remember, the first time I was shocked when I saw stuff on third phase of the moon, or what was the other guy? You got a couple of those channels that people could send their stuff to them, and of course there was a lot of bullshit there, but there there was some genuine stuff, and it was like, oh my God, is it real?
Right.
I can still remember those days, and some people are still there, right? They sort of.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like if they're releasing videos, what's the point of releasing these blurry videos? Nobody's getting initiated with that. Just release an actual video which will shock someone, which is like we can quantify. Right now, these videos are.
I think they might. I'm sure they're scared of shocking, right? At this point, they want to get everyone on the same page, like where we are, right? We've been doing this for years. We've been interested in the subject for years, obsessed with it, philosophizing about it, trying to integrate it into our lives and into our world politics and stuff like that. But a lot of people just ignore this subject or might just think it's demonic.
You can sort of look at it on X, right? The spaces on aliens have exploded. The amount of stuff on alien spaces is just incredible. And when when you join those spaces, there's lots of people who are sort of skeptical, who think you're crazy, or we ridicule it. But the group is growing, and it's growing exponentially. And
I used to have the worst arguments. I guess 20 years ago. When did I stop arguing? I think there was at some point I just stopped arguing with people that they'll call me crazy or come up with all these. And at one point I'm like, you know what? You have to convince yourself. I'm not going to convince anyone, right? I'm convinced. And what convinced me was the leaked NASA videos. Remember there was that Canadian guy. Oh, I can't remember forgetting his name. He was a satellite operator in Canada. Stubbs? Martin Stubbs. Yes, that's his name. Martin Stubbs. And he recorded, because there were some satellite feeds that were not public, right? But he had access to them because he was a satellite feed operator. And he recorded hours and hours of this footage. But if you remember, like the STS missions, like the tether incident, that was him. He leaked that. He's the one who got that footage, which was not public, and many other ones. When I saw those, because I was always on the fence, right? And like, oh, it could be hours and stuff like that. And when I saw these things coming from space and making 90-degree turns, being translucent over Africa, making like these circle figures, and then just pulsating. Oh yeah, because these cameras were in the ultraviolet, so we can't see them with our eyes, but these cameras can see them. Anyway, after I saw all those, I was like, that's it. I'm not arguing with anyone anymore. If they're not convinced, I'm not going to convince them.
Exactly. So I call it the cohort incubation theory. And you saw the same thing you saw with Bitcoin and crypto, right? At first, you're like a few people who are shouting like, oh, this is the future. And then everybody thinks you're crazy and, doesn't believe you. But then you do reach people. There are people who are actually listening to you, but they are still afraid to come out of the closet, right? They are sort of on your side, but they're sort of skeptical. They're still on the fence. And then at some point, somebody says something in public that makes it okay. And then suddenly they say, yeah, of course, I know it too. And, then they start talking. And then this group grows. But it takes like the incubation period takes like, a couple of years. In crypto, you saw it took like about 5 years. And now you see the same thing with UFOs, right? So the group gets bigger. And I call it the cohort theory because you get new cohorts of people joining, right? Usually there's a disturbance or, something happens in their surroundings, a neighbor or something to themselves, or maybe something to society, and then suddenly some people wake up and they join the chorus, and then start spreading again. But you have this sort of build up of a couple of years, and then you reach people, but they're still in the closet, and then right?
It's almost like they don't feel safe to come out yet, right? It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson. All of a sudden, right? He comes out and he's all for this, and he writes a book about it when he was debunking it before. But now, because the White House and the government is doing all this this effort and push, now it's safe for him to come out and take it seriously.
Not only coming out, but he's trying to say that who should contact, like which scientists. I will say F you. You are not allowed in this space. And all those scientists who made fun of all the crazy people like us should not be near this subject. Stay in your
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that. So these are the videos we want to see. So Ross Coulthard has a contact, and he says, one, he's describing videos. A video of a black disc 3 times the size of an oil platform that was captured speeding underwater near a platform in the Gulf of Mexico. 2, a video from a B-52 in which a disc approaches, slows down to keep pace, then zips off at the end, all the while with NHI looking out of the windows, force fields, whatever they call windows. Could you imagine?
This is the one I want to see.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. but also the first one, man. The 3 times.
No, but the difference in 1 and 2 is like in 2 there is like the whole crazy movement, and then NHI is coming out and looking out of the window.
Dude,
that's insane.
Yeah.
By the way, to the earlier point, I also wanted to mention, like in the news items, they keep repeating that 50% of Americans believe in UFOs. So they're creating this environment that they are actually communicating to you, the viewer, like, look at that, 50% of you already believe this.
Yeah.
So they're putting them all together.
I don't doubt it. I think 50% of Americans believe this, to be honest. Because when you go out and see, they are not crazy about that, but they say, they kind of believe it.
But they qualify it, right? Because usually that group of 50%, they believe that somewhere out in space on one of the planets, blah blah blah. But if you sort of cut and slice that 50%, it's probably more like 10% that actually believe that we're interacting.
Okay. I agree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that they're here. Definitely, it's much lower than that. So, yeah, good point. The third one, this one was described to me by a source at ODNI. An orb playing cat and mouse with a Reaper drone at 30,000 feet or so up. It forces it to go evasive, then keeps pace with it, zips around it on the right wing, then zips off. All of this was 4K or better, as told to me by my source, who is extremely well cleared and someone who I trust implicitly.
Oh, that's insane. 4K video. Wow.
Yes, hell yeah. So this is the stuff we want to see. No more grainy videos.
Yeah, but 4K depending on the distance, right? If it's closer, that's good. If it's far away, still.
Right. And if it's zipping away and zipping in, I don't think it'll be that clear if it's going that fast.
I'm not sure it's gonna be a good video, but we have to see it. Yeah.
Didn't you also have that video which was later proved to be real? Of sort of, you see this sort of, I think, a white disc sort of coming from the distance from a mountain, and then make this sort of loop.
Yes, is that the drone one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that real, or was it because I?
Oh, I mean, they so many different people studied that footage, and it's definitely real. It's not an insect, because you can see it coming from the mountain and it dips down into the valley, and then it shows up really past the camera.
But that's super high resolution, amazing footage if it's a UFO, right? A genuine UFO.
You're right, and but because it's going so fast, it's not that clear. But yes, that is 4K footage. Now, after, I think this was before. Yes, this was before the release or after. I can't remember. No, it was before. A couple days before. Grusch did a press conference about disclosure, and he's basically saying, "Listen," he's telling the president and the White House what they should release, what he saw with his own eyes, being quote unquote ultra cleared, and oh wow, look at all these mics he has here. Yeah. This is a foreign one.
Al Arabia. That's Al Arabia.
Yeah. So even they're covering it.
I'm tall. I'll try to enunciate. Good afternoon. I'm here today because my leadership on the disclosure issue is part of my continued service to the nation. I took an oath as an Air Force officer swearing allegiance to the principles and the framework of the U.S. Constitution. I took that oath seriously then, and I take that oath seriously now. And if this is one of my final duties of public service, I want it to be this: helping Congress and the President restore lawful accountability over activities and spending that should have never been placed beyond constitutional oversights, and to be transparent with the American people. There are a myriad of issues across multiple cultural, religious, and institutional spectrums. The topics here that we're discussing today go beyond life in the universe. There are serious homeland security and airspace safety issues. There are relevant counterintelligence and technology protection issues that must be taken into consideration. For decades, unknown objects have freely operated in restricted airspace in large metropolitan areas and critical infrastructure, and the agencies responsible for securing the homeland cannot adequately defend against it. This is a serious national security issue. In my official duties, I was exposed to human and signals intelligence information concerning foreign adversary, UAP crash retrieval, exploitation and study efforts, adversary views on U.S. legacy program reverse engineering efforts, and U.S.-held audiovisual information related to crash retrieval matters, such as the recovered vehicles and the associated biological material. One must always be concerned about adversarial disinformation when you're getting foreign intelligence, but I was able to cross-verify this information internally to back up the foreign government assertions. Many of the president's team has been kept in the dark by high ego, politically appointed actors, both because of incompetence and malicious intent has subverted the president's order on this issue. Furthermore, some of this foreign intelligence has not been provided to Congress despite lawful requests to the Defense Intelligence Agency last summer, and also having formally been published across the IC and analyzed by such analytical centers such as NASIC. These records belong under congressional oversight, and I believe DIA should stop obstructing Chairwoman Luna's task force and provide those documents to Congress and enter it through mandatory declassification review so the American public can see some of the foreign intelligence I had access to. Secrecy around this issue did not appear overnight. Subsequent executive orders, Secretary of Defense memorandums, departmented security, basically nullified Congress's role with the judicial branch with oversight of this issue. Remember, classification exists to protect the nation. Executive Order 13526 discusses what can and cannot be classified. Embarrassment, hiding funds, criminal activity, and the basic information about scientific information in the universe is unlawful for it to be classified. And this is why whistleblower protections matter. Through my federal litigation ongoing with the Department of War, I learned that the Air Force worked with an external agency to seek an investigation of me for alleged unauthorized disclosures punishable under the Espionage Act after I testified in front of Congress in 2023, discussing the results of my congressionally directed investigation in the support of the first Trump administration. This should concern every member of Congress, regardless of party. To this day, I'm still fighting years of record withholding, administrative obstruction, and a prolonged effort to get a medical military retirement that I still am not in a retired status. This is also a real fraud, waste, and abuse issue. President Vance's task force is sharply focused on the issue of misuse of funds. The same accountability problem applies here. And during my investigation, I found slush funds to the tune of billions of dollars per annum for these activities. We cannot have one standard for the American people and another standard for the deep state that hide behind the veil of secrecy. President Trump has the authority to create an enduring legacy of government transparency, accountability consistent with national security protections. Disclosure should not depend on leaks. It should not depend on the public taking my word for it or anyone else's.
Yep.
American people deserve more than vague denials and selective releases of prior administrations, to include through troubled organizations such as ARROW. I applaud the president's efforts and has promised to show true American leadership on this issue of massive worldwide interest, over 1 billion views on the File Drop website. So the time has come to stop asking the public to trust secret conclusions. Instead, provide an honest accounting of what it knows, what it's done, and what has been withheld. God bless America.
Yeah. I mean, see, yes, that's what disclosure is. And I'm glad that he's still pushing this and keeping that message, what he saw, what documents to look for. So he's saying there was the DIA blocked Congress access to foreign intelligence, right, that had views on our UFO legacy program, reverse engineering and biologics, and saying that foreign adversary also has downed craft and has a reverse engineering program.
Can we guess that foreign agency?
It's multiple, right? I mean, it's not.
No,
just
he specifically said one foreign agency.
He did.
So now let's guess one.
China. I would say China.
No. Morocco. Why China? Morocco.
You don't think it's Russia? No, it's not Israel, man.
But Canada?
If there is only foreign agency can do it, it's Israel.
I mean, that's why they're trying to connect with our. That's why they're trying to merge with our military. They're not there yet. I think this UFO secret is the one thing they don't have. Right?
No, do you really think they will work with Chinese agency or Russian agency? No, that's stupid.
No, I don't think
only
he said,
agency
I don't think he said they worked with them. He said that it was.
He didn't. But he said during the investigation there was another agency involved who worked with CIA to investigate him, which was like a crime. Under
that's him. Yeah, I mean, there was another agency that was investigating him.
Yeah, so then he mentioned another agency who was working with them. So I think it's the same agency, and only agency who have access to United States government is Israel. No other agency.
I don't know. I'm misunderstanding. Maybe. I mean, I'll be the first one to say it, but I don't see.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's analyze. Like China. Do you really think U.S. government will work with China on this?
I don't think he said working with. He said that they got. He saw foreign intelligence.
I think what Syd is trying to say is there was a government department that pulled it, even though there was no reason to pull it because it was a foreign adversary. So why would you pull it if it's a foreign adversary unless we are working with them?
Unless that foreign adversary is
an ally.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because they've done
that.
Exactly
sorry, I was trying to make this point. Basically,
so they've done that before. So wait,
but then they wouldn't use the word adversary, right?
Well, no, they are adversary.
I mean, yes. Okay, see, that's a good point. Then he wouldn't say adversary if it's Israel, right?
I think they will because they recently come out and say that they are spying on president and all those things. And
that's true.
And if you listen to John Kiriakou, he is always saying that CIA always have considered them adversaries. They don't even allow. They don't even allow them in their building.
Yeah, but the Pentagon last week also raised the flag, saying that there's more spying by Israel, and they're saying it's a concern.
So that will classify them as an adversary, unless you are like a.
The truth is,
honest, right? Let's be real. Like all MI6 and MI5 are also spying.
Could be MI6, to be honest. Could be MI6.
The Japanese and the Chinese and the Russians are also, they have deep. Espionage networks within America that
not at that level. Not at that level. No country spy on president and vice president. But I don't think it's China or Russia. It could be MI5 because UK and US have really good ties.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there are a lot of reports of UFO crashes in UK. So,
what I wanted to highlight is one other thing that he mentioned is like it's about billions of dollars that go missing. Right? I mean, this ties into what Catherine Olsen-Fitz has been, talking about for decades now. The missing trillions, and what I've been saying, and some of the stuff that I've been writing, like the Eternal Oracle, but also some of my other stuff. These sort of slush funds, these black projects that take away billions from US citizens, probably also European citizens and other citizens around the world, that go into these, reverse engineering programs. I mean, I think that in itself is enough reason to basically kill people.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's power and technology, and which both are wealth. It's like these. I'm trying, if you try and put yourself in their shoes of these families and these elite families, and they have a massive amount of wealth, massive amount of power, and they want to keep it. So if you have something that is hundreds or thousands of years ahead, that is the perfect thing to not just increase your power and wealth, but to entrench it almost forever, because you have like a time machine. It's a hack, basically. So I understand why, from their perspective to do this, but unfortunately, psychopathic behavior is not good for civilization, and they need to think about humanity instead of just themselves or just their lineage, and just humanity as a civilization, and to push us forward instead of us stuck in this paradigm that we're in. And that's probably part of it too, is that I'm sure these aliens do not use the same financial systems that we use.
Well, I think
because they don't have Jews on their planet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think
that's why they're here on a prison planet. They've trapped them here with us.
But we're also sort of near the end of this financial situation, right? I mean, it is sort of the end. We're going into a new economy, which will be nothing like the economy that we've had. I mean, you could sort of argue that economy as we know it is sort of over.
Gone. Yeah.
And they're leveraging the entire system like a piggy bank in order to make this transition towards this new economy where we are no longer necessary, and where we are fully controlled, and where money in a sense is also no longer necessary. Right.
Yeah.
So at least not to the degree that we have used it, because, Anyway.
Yeah.
I call it evil Knievel economy.
You're right. I mean, I agree that they are putting us into a new system, but it's just prolonging this one, right? In another way, just so they can stay on top.
But I think what we've had was like a metaphorical prison, or metaphorical figurative slavery in some sense. I mean, one of the things that you can really think about is if Stephen Greer is right, and we have had like a lost century, is what he's talking about, and that there's groups within the government or underground, as some say, that have basically 0 point energy. Then why are we even working? What's the point of work?
I mean, yes, it's not work, but I guess trying to find value in life, right? Yeah, for centuries, for humans to find value is that we would work, and that's how, right?
Money is a very, very new invention. Humanity has been working from the caveman days. So the idea that people will stop working, they're stupid. No, people will find a purpose and follow the real purpose of their life.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is slightly different. It's like, the work that we currently do, trying to get up the corporate ladder,
That's a stupid work. Nobody should be doing that.
And that is completely unnecessary if any of this is true, right? So, and that's basically to keep us busy, right? And to extract wealth and energy and time.
Right.
No, they were not trying to keep us busy. They were trying to make more money. But I think that era is over, especially with the AI. Everything will be replaced by AI. So I think they have to change it anyway.
I mean, I agree. AI is changing things, but then people are producing more things because of AI if they're doing it the right way.
But they're doing it willingly, right? They're not forced to do it. So they are like people like you and I work in AI, but we love to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Because it feels like we are fulfilling our purpose. But when we do a stupid job, 9-to-5 job, we just need to do it to survive. So they are two different things.
Yeah, they are two different things, and we're likely to see the 9-to-5 likely go away.
It's almost going away. I think most of the technical jobs, people working from home, and nobody's working 9-to-5 anymore. like from home.
There are.
No, there are a lot, but like I'm talking about like highly technical job, and even in banks, I am very connected. At least in Canada, it changes in different country, but here most of the jobs, technical jobs, are working from home, and you don't have to start at 9. You just have to finish your task. You have to be there, but you just have to monitor your emails and then finish the task.
So true, man.
Just as a teaser, my disclosure article will go into these kind of things.
Okay, we'll see.
Awesome. I'm glad that you're tackling that, because it's important. All of these. So this is an 8-minute video, maybe not all of it, but he says some cool stuff here. Grusch. He's on Fox News. Obviously, Mr. Trump watches Fox News, so this is directed at him.
Yeah, I like this one. I saw it.
Yeah. So, let's take a listen here.
For tonight's big close-up is UAP whistleblower and former Air Force intelligence officer David Grusch. David, I'm bought into this. I watched The Age of Disclosure. I can't wait to watch Disclosure Day on Monday. I'm going to go see it by myself.
Oh, wait, you guys haven't watched Disclosure Day yet, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't do any spoilers. By the way,
even if she do spoilers, I don't care, because I've read the reviews of that movie. We will talk about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, but I do want to ask you, Adam, after this one about it.
Okay.
We will talk about that movie, and we'll spoil it for everyone.
Okay, I'll try not to.
No, I want you to spoil
it.
You want me to spoil it? Okay.
I know that you are a whistleblower on this, and you're very passionate about this, and for good reason. My question is, these files that are being dropped, how confident are you that this administration is going to give us all the information, maybe that you're privy to or that you suspect? Do you think we're going to get the real answers on the UAP, UFO, alien activity?
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. I believe the presser we did earlier this week was helping drive that impetus so the administration does release those files. I know Mr. Stephen Miller is very serious about getting to the bottom of this for the president, and certainly the president was briefed on a lot of these matters his first term as well. So certainly seeing good signs. Very interesting files that were released the other day through the third drop. But it's really up to the administration and the cabinet to release a lot of the information I was exposed to. You know, they have the keys to the car, so to speak.
You know, David, Lisa Booth here. A lot of times these sightings end up having ordinary explanations. Tell us about some that you've seen that defy the ordinary.
Yeah, certainly some of them are ordinary, and some of them end up being, you know, foreign programs and our own blue programs. Seen a lot of different interesting anomalous videos where we had, you know, orbs cooler than background temperature moving at 400 knots, you know, things like that. Certainly, like I said in my presser on Tuesday, I did get access to crash retrieval photos and everything, so I've seen the recovered vehicles and everything. So I would say that's probably the most stupendous thing, earth-shattering thing that, you know, changed my worldview when I got access to some of that years ago. And I do hope the administration, and I think they will, release that information.
So he said he saw with his own eyes classified images of crash retrievals and biologics. I mean, he said that before, but something has given him more confidence to be more open about this. And people are saying in the background that Stephen Miller from the White House told him, you know, whatever you want to say, go ahead. The president declassifies it, basically.
Yeah. I think it was what was the other one? You got Burlison. I think
Burlison. Yes,
Burlison was also talking about that Trump is going to give a directive that sort of releases people from their NDAs, right?
Oh yeah.
So
okay,
I think they know that it's coming, because why would Grusch risk this if, you know, what he has said about, you know, him being harassed and molested in different, which we know at least to a point is true, right? I mean, he has been harassed.
Yes, he has.
So why would he be so brazen and stand there and talk about all this stuff if he wasn't sure about, you know, having backup?
Absolutely, and I'm happy it's Grusch that's leading this, right? Nothing against Elizondo or anything, but I think Grusch was a much higher level. he seems more trustworthy. He hasn't given us any
But
fake
Louis is everywhere on all the news stations together with Ross.
He's all over the disclosure day as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's continue this.
In a further drop.
David, I gotta just jump in real quick there and give you a chance to talk about these crash site vehicles, because you got the hair on my wrist standing up. Just real quickly, I don't want to filibuster Joey here, but I'm very into this.
You got it.
Tell me about these crash sites that you've seen personally.
Yeah, a lot of them looked like what we saw. Some of the reporting dropped on Friday. There was a 1948 memo from the Chief of Naval Operations that discussed the flying disc pandemic that they were having, and they were enlisting help of the Air Force Intelligence Service. A lot of it was lenticular discs. Some was crescent moon shaped. I call it the flattened sunfish. There's a bunch of different morphologies that the U.S. government has recovered, from eggs to discs to crescent moon, boomerang type vehicles, and I got a small smattering sample of that of ones that have landed or crashed on the surface of the Earth.
David, I hate to bring us back down the ground here, but this is another kind of a tangent to this issue that I think that Americans maybe aren't as surprised by. But I want to ask you about recent allegations you've made accusing intel agencies of hiding billions of dollars in secret government spending from Congress. I mean, we know about Air America. CIA has done stuff like that, even Iran-Contra. So we've seen this happen before. It's not, it's not aliens. It's what our government does. But tell us what you know about that.
Yeah, certainly. Earlier in my career, I was a counter-threat finance analyst. I actually worked in a special cell looking at arms trafficking and terrorist funding. So I have that background in counter-finance. And what I found was there were haircuts taken to classified Black programs to fund this. There was also self-funding cutout companies, if you're familiar, and you mentioned Iran-Contra, and they had cutout companies self-funding some of the arms purchases for the Contras, but also criminal enterprises, unfortunately, is kind of the third way I saw laundering money. And I actually bumped into a very serious criminal enterprise, and all that information was actually reported to Department of Justice, and it led to some federal investigations and things I can't mention now, but the DOJ is actually handling that now, because I bumped into a government-run criminal enterprise that was siphoning money for this topic as well, to pay for kind of the crash retrieval operations off books.
That is crazy, because it basically corroborates what Stephen Greer has been saying, right? That this is an international criminal cabal with self-financing operations that do criminal activity to fund these Black projects to keep it away from Congress. And he said he found evidence of that, and that the DOJ is handling it. I don't know if I trust the DOJ handling it, especially like what we saw with the Epstein files, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, also, one thing he mentioned about crescent moon UFOs.
Yeah,
I've never seen that. That's a new thing to me.
Yeah, crescent moon. I guess it's like a boomerang. Would that be like a boomerang kind of disc, maybe?
Yeah, but he could have said boomerang, right?
Yeah, but he used a couple of different ways to describe that one. Crescent moon was one of them.
He said a flattened starfish, or not starfish, something like that. He said, I don't know what he's. So cool stuff, man. The guy is he's out there. He's confident.
And I think the billions missing, that's enough to wake up people, right? I mean, even if you don't believe about ETs and UFOs and alien contact and whatever, right? Just the fact that there's billions going into these projects and there's no oversight.
Right.
I mean, first of all, we could use those billions.
Yeah.
Secondly, right, that automatically means that there's criminal activity almost, indefinitely. Right? If there's like billions going on without oversight, the chances that doesn't lead to criminality and those kind of things is close to zero, right?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it seems our government is just run by a criminal enterprise. And, if these technologies are real, why are we even having a war with Iran, right? I mean, we know the answer to that. we know the real answer to that. But, and could you imagine if Israel gets its hands on these technologies, which it's trying to do with being integrated into the U.S. military?
that's the point, right? We have to be sort of clear-eyed about it. So apparently Israel doesn't have its hands on these kind of technologies.
No, it doesn't.
Somebody else has his hands on this technology.
Yeah, I mean, but Israel has hand on our nuclear technology. They have our literal American nuclear bombs. They literally stole it from America.
Right, but if you listen to Kiriakou says we give them 99% of our technology. Right, he goes that 1% they want. It drives them crazy that they can't get that 1%, and that's why they spy on all of the defense contractors.
Yeah, but isn't that also why you have an 80-year cover-up, right? I mean, basically that's exactly the reason. One of the reasons that they bring forth is, to keep adversaries and allies and ally adversaries or frenemies out of it, because this is sort of their, this is their secret grill, their holy grill.
You nailed it, Nick, and that's the only reason why I would support the secrecy, okay, but not the secrecy that aliens exist. That is just that's stupid, right? Or whatever, or NHI, or future humans, or whatever it is, whatever the phenomena is. Fine, I understand the technology aspect of it, and they should protect it.
And to be honest, we don't even demand to share the technology because we know it's useless for us. It's going to be only the government. Right. For example, the F-16 or F-35 plane out there. We know the plane exists, but we don't know how it works. That's fine for us, but we need to know if it exists or not.
Right. But I think disclosure. For example, I did see some reviews about Disclosure Day. Mm-hmm. I don't really mind, having it spoiled a little bit here and there. But one of the reviews was that basically the story is, as I understood it from the reviews, is that humanity has to grow up, be more empathetic, and then they are, okay to meet our superior alien friends out there.
Yeah.
Right. So we're basically Neanderthals, and we have to grow up and be.
Yeah. Yes, that's the message of the movie in a nutshell, basically.
But I think the real reason why we should do disclosure, like why disclosure is super important, is that there is a national security issue, right? But the national security issue is the secrecy itself, right? And I think the only way that we can prove to whoever is out there, but especially to ourselves, is that we give complete transparency to this sort of gigantic boil that is destroying the world, and that we actually need to uncover or disclose the national security state, right? That's what we should do.
Yes.
And then the rest will follow automatically, and then they think, okay, these guys grow up, they don't believe anymore that everything is national security and everything is secrecy. Blah blah. We should.
How do you know that we have grown up? Like, there is no parameter for that.
I think we were more grown up in the 40s and 50s. I think because I think it's because the government has treated us like children from all that time. We've become children, because of that.
Yeah, because we're shielded and they keep all this stuff secret.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the point is, like, the point that we need to grow up. This is stupid. We will never grow up, to be honest. So the best way is to go and release these stories. Well, humanity, the traits we have, they are biological. We will always be jealous. We always fight with each other.
Of course.
Yeah. So we will never grow up.
And of course, they will.
But it's important. It's important for humanity to have all of the information possible to grow up, right? Because we can't grow up without it. Yeah,
exactly. So we need this information first, so there is a chance that we realize our mistakes.
But I think
we are not growing up.
But I think the first thing in growing up is accountability, right? To be responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
And right now we're deferring responsibility. Everybody's deferring responsibility. Nobody's taking responsibility. So we actually have to hold ourselves.
No, but right now we don't even have responsibilities because we are slaves of the government. Government have all the responsibilities. They need to take it. But as a human, what responsibility I'm going to take about UFOs?
But that's why we need to demand this disclosure and accountability from the deep state, right? We have to disclose the deep state. The aliens are secondary.
And we know that no one's going to, be held accountable for it, right? No one's been held accountable for anything that the government has done. But ultimately, I don't really blame the initial reaction, right? But at some point, probably around the 60s, and they kept it being secret and then moved it out of the government into the corporate world. There is some blame there to do that. It's malicious.
Blame, yeah.
Yeah, and who's going to take it? Who knows? I think if we want disclosure, then they need to probably give immunity.
Right now, nobody's going to take the blame because all the people who did that made those policies are dead. So the new generation who was taking care of those, they're just following the previously made SOPs. So they can't take the blame for that because they will say that we are just following the orders. That's
of course what Hannah Arendt said, like the banality of evil. I'm just following orders. That's what the Nazis also did. Don't blame me. I'm just doing whatever it is that they said that I should do, right? Without but you got
the point is if it's written in the law and they were following the law, then they cannot be responsible.
No, but if the law, that's where I 100% agree with Christianity. If the law is corrupt, you shouldn't follow the law.
I agree, but this is not will fly in the court because they will say this is the national law.
Well, I mean, the founders have said that. They've said that if there's an unlawful or unmoral or unjust law, do not follow it. Right? That you are okay not to follow it.
And Tacitus also said, the more laws appear in a society, the more corrupt the society is, and our society is covered in laws.
By the way, I agree with those principles. What I'm saying, no one will be held accountable because they are the law. Yes, they had a choice. They should have done better. But the point is, when you go to a court, a military court, because they are like military SOPs, nobody will be prosecuted for that because they say they were following their job. And military is specifically brainwashed to follow that job.
I agree with that. But the point is for us as people, like the citizens of the world, if we actually want to, do something real about this, otherwise we just get another psyop, right? We got half truths and side truths and untruths and whatever they need to spin the narrative in their favor, right? If we don't solve this underlying issue, then maybe also the NHI will say, okay, these fuck these people, they'll never grow up and
unless we are their property, then it's just the next phase.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't buy this whole grow up narratives. This is like a scam to me. It sounds like somebody's pouring that narrative.
Sid, Sid, I mean, most of the planet, I don't think is ready for this, right? We live in the West. I think we forget about the other countries in the world.
Trust me, nobody will bother. They have so many problems. They will say, okay, there are aliens. Fine.
I actually had an interview with Andy Lian this morning, and just gouging the temperature in Asia about UFOs. Yeah, and they're very practical about it. Show me a body, and then I'll believe, and otherwise, shut up about it.
Yeah, and to be honest, even if they are declared, nobody will be bothered by that. They will say, okay, they have found another thing. Sure.
Right.
And to be honest, there are already bodies, right? In Peru, they're studying bodies as we speak.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good point. All right, let's continue with David on this interview.
David, I feel like to some of the skeptics out there, you just talked about an example dating back to the 1940s. Yeah. There's been evidence or allegations for decades. And the cynics or the skeptics might say, if there's truly some big conspiracy here to hide all this from us, that's now involving so many people to keep these secrets and keep the conspiracy going. Is that really plausible or realistic? How do you address that question that people might ask?
Yeah, at any given time, there's probably several thousand people briefed. And then remember, it's an onion model. So people at the top, you're looking at less than 200 that really know a lot of this information. As somebody who was originally ultra cleared, I was cleared to the entire black budget of the Department of Defense at one point. We do keep a lot of secrets as America, and there are multi-decade, thousands of people briefed to certain sensitive activities we do around the world, and it's never leaked. And conversely, actually, this subject at some level has been leaking since almost its inception, because you had qualified observers seeing this phenomena, and then you did have information about crash retrievals and other things like, historical events that have been documented, like Virginia and Brazil in '96, which the Brazilian defense minister recently in a statement confirmed that event actually happens. And if you watch an episode of American Alchemy with Jesse Michaels, you can actually watch the interview. So the government is very good at keeping secrets, but at the same time, this subject actually has been leaking at some level as well. But we have techniques and procedures to keep the lid on a lot of sensitive things, believe it or not.
David, just real quickly, are you fearing for your life at all, or blowback? I know that you've been very outspoken, but after watching a lot of documentaries on this, there are a lot of whistleblowers that speak of the things that you're speaking of. Is there a price that you pay for that?
Yeah, there was a severe price. And certainly my wife and I witnessed a lot of things in our personal life to send me a message when I was, at NGA and still an intelligence officer. The administrative terrorism was immense. And like I mentioned in my presser, even the Air Force A2 or the intelligence directorate, tried to get an Espionage Act unauthorized disclosure investigation on me when I went public in 2023 and testified in front of the House Oversight Committee. And certainly recently, my good Air Force friend, Matthew, call sign Quake Sullivan, did pass away mysteriously before he was willing to come to the Hill to testify about his knowledge of these activities. And Quake was a Bronze Star recipient and an Air Force officer, intel officer friend of mine that I served with. And, he was one of my, sources in my investigation. And, he passed away mysteriously. And that is an ongoing FBI matter. So I won't characterize it. And I'm open to, different conclusions of what happened. But just, to your point, there's been a lot of anomalous things that have happened to people. I've had anomalous health incidents happen to people that were helping me in my investigation, Havana syndrome, if you will. And now that the government is finally admitting that issue is real, and that issue sort of parallels this issue, they deny, until all of a sudden, just kidding, we know it's real. So I've been at fear for my life in the past.
Well, David, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if there was nothing to this, why would he fear for his life, right?
And I think the Havana syndrome issue is very interesting, also, right? And I mean, he's very right to point that out. Also, the parallel, and then the point is like it gets revealed. Like for example, at the moment, the general public is not there yet, right? But let's say the public accepts UFOs, like Syd says, and like we will also, I also believe that at some point the general public will say, okay, it's real, you got me. But right. Then they forget that you had like an 80-year cover-up.
80 years, 3 generations.
Also, they pretend that they are keeping the secret. No, they are not keeping the secret. The leaks are coming out every year. That's how we knew it. We knew all these stories from last decade, like last 10 years. And then they're saying, no, but how can they keep a secret? No, they are not keeping a secret. There are not multiple leaks.
So, that's the funny thing, right? I mean, you got Bob Lazar in the 80s and all these other people who have leaked throughout the years, the Foo Fighters, the Ghost Rockets. I mean, as soon as you sort of dive into the haystack of evidence.
Also, there is stupidity that they are asking this question from the actual leaker, David Grusch.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, he's the one who came out and leaked all this information, and they're asking how they are keeping. No, you are talking to the person. Like, these people are really stupid, especially the people here on this channel.
It's almost been I was just going to say there's almost been a whistleblower every 2 years over the past 30 years.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the past 3 years or so, you had like congression on congression, videos upon videos, and now we don't even, remember in the New York Post when they first released those 3 videos, and then everybody was like, wow,
right, yeah.
Now, boring.
Exactly. It's so funny how that happens.
Yeah, I remember our first podcast after the first hearing, and we were so shocked. Now they have released this thing. I was like, man, I don't care.
I know when Grusch first did the 2023 hearing, it was huge news.
But shall I tell you something about Europe? So Europe is paying like zero attention to any of this. like absolutely nothing. It's in no outlet, no news. They only did one 20-minute block in Holland.
So wait. Even in the Netherlands, because I remember
nobody. The people who believe in this stuff is basically word mouth to mouth, like but on the news there's like close to zero. It's like
wow,
maybe 1% of the news. Less than 1% of the news is about UFOs. So this whole sort of congressional build-up over the years in America. At first there was a little bit of curiosity, but now there's zero, and that also has to do with Trump, of course. Because in Europe they hate him, like with a passion you can't believe.
Yeah.
But
I believe
it. So anything that he does, even if it's good stuff like this, it's all bad by definition because it's Trump, right? So you don't have to pay attention.
That's unfortunate, because is France going to release anything? I mean, it's Japan announced that they're going to release, right, with the US. I think Russia said something. Brazil said they're going to release stuff.
The French are usually pretty independent. They're the most independent within Europe. So they also have this more international outlook. So they have a better feel for the change of the tides, and the French have a very long-standing research into the UFO. I mean, look at Jacques Vallée is of course French.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the French starts releasing and that it will start there, and then the British will probably be last.
Australians, they have a lot of files as well. Grusch did mention the Australian UFO report from the 1970s. I will have it linked up, but he said to start from page 7 and read that report from page 7. And they actually the Australian UFO report goes through the entire history and basically says that it's real. That they should have their own independent research separate from the United States. That we shouldn't just take their conclusions. And
Amen.
We should have our own. Yeah, exactly. All right, this clip is what you mentioned, Nick, before. Burlison, he's basically asking for immunity for the whistleblowers.
Mr. President, I'm asking you directly, waive the non-disclosure agreements that still bind these patriots. Grant immunity to anyone and everyone who has already come forward and everyone who will come forward. Open the door and let them speak. Because unless people know they will be protected, why would they come forward and step forward otherwise? It is time that we flip the script entirely as well. It has been said by people in positions that know that even presidents have been kept on a need-to-know basis, that Navy pilots, admirals, and generals describe programs to senior officials that commander-in-chiefs were never briefed on. Career bureaucrats who view presidents as temporary help. Here today, gone tomorrow. That is not classification. That's a constitutional crisis. Transparency must be the default in the United States of America, and it should be required for those with knowledge to come forward, not wait for us to ask. There must be real penalties for officials who knowingly withhold information from Congress. Playing dumb is no longer acceptable. Hiding behind classification is no longer acceptable. Mr. President, you know that the agencies lie. You know that firsthand. They have lied to you. They have lied about you. They do not cooperate easily, and they never have. This is the moment. Use the authority that you have, Mr. President. The American people are behind you. And everyone listening today in government, working for a contractor, retired, anywhere in the world, come to Congress. Come to these group of people. We will work with you. This is a worldwide call for action. And what you know and help us please release every record, every file, and every piece of information. The time is now.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, Burlison. He's a great dude. He's a skeptic. He said that he still doesn't believe because he wants to see the craft and the aliens, and then he'll believe. So it's good we have someone like that, who's after this.
But he's, it's a powerful speech. I mean, they all gave very powerful speeches, and
yeah,
when they, you don't go out there and put your neck on the line like that. I mean, these are politicians, right? They're not stupid,
exactly,
right? They know they will only do this if they know the wind is changing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, they know that there's momentum there. They're trying to get ahead of it, or they're trying to, be credited for their efforts, which they should. I mean, Burlison, Luna, Burchett, Grusch.
And also look at the constellation, right? Because what you said is very interesting, right? So Burlison is sort of a skeptic, at least that's what he says.
Yeah.
And Burchett is sort of speaking to the Christian community.
Yep.
And then Luna is like a hot babe. So you get this spectrum of people like, oh, this is a nice group, and you got Democrats and Republicans. So you could almost say that this group of representatives is sort of tailor-made to speak to different kind of demographics in order to get the message.
It's like a marketing plan, a PR plan.
Yeah, but I don't see many Democrats doing that. It's almost exclusive to Republicans right now. There are a few people who are interested, but they are not advocates.
There's Moskowitz. I think he's the only one, right? Moskowitz,
AOC. Yeah, but they are not like advocate of that, right? They just come to the hearing and then just left. But these people like Burchett, Anna Polina Luna, and all of those guys, they are all Republican.
What was the name of the guy who put in the Schumer? Chuck Schumer.
Oh yeah, he's Democrat. Yeah,
he's Democrat, but he's I don't know what's happened to him. I don't see him anywhere in any news.
But
to be honest.
But this sort of fits really nicely with the factions and this because you got departments that are fighting each other, and you got also interdepartment fighting, with people coming out. But you also got, of course, the classic Democrats versus Republicans. And then even within the Republicans, you have like the neoconservative Republicans. And Trump,
I mean, Rubio is a neocon, and he's apparently pushing this from within because he's national security advisor and Department of State. But he was in the age of disclosure. He knows about this subject, and so it's likely he's part of this effort to uncover this.
Yeah. So, but this is clearly, I agree with Syd that this is a Republican push in order to, and I think it's sort of like, who gets the lead here will stay in the lead because of the whole economy is changing. You got this new infrastructure. So you could sort of take out the opposition once and for all. And, clearly the Democrats and the Republicans to a large extent don't like each other, except, some do.
Yeah.
But Adam, I wanted to ask you before we move on, like, what was your opinion of the Disclosure Day?
Disclosure Day, the movie. He brought in a lot of cool things. I don't want to do any spoilers, but I'll say this. I would say it was good, but it wasn't great. But then lots of parts of the lore that he brought in were really cool. Like the psionics part, the mind reading. I think the guy who's head of that corporation, the one who's keeping the secrets, looks like Ingo Swann, the really famous remote viewer.
Yeah.
I think he looks exactly like him. Now, Ingo Swann was not an evil dude, but this guy is, maybe he's not evil, but he acts evil in the movie.
Ingo Swann was a good guy. I think he
was a good guy. But that guy who's head of the corp, Syd, you watched the movie, right? Or not yet?
No, I've not.
Oh, so you guys haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
But I want you to spoil it because I don't want him to make some money. So destroy him. He destroyed Indiana Jones for us, so we're gonna destroy Disclosure Day.
I can handle it, Adam. You can spoil it for me. I just want to say that if
noobs coming into the subject, then it's a really good movie, a great movie. If it's like for us, we've seen a lot of the stuff that he brought in. I don't think the story was compelling, but a lot of the information in there was compelling. Does that make sense? So I'm giving it maybe a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
And a lot of the reviews were very harsh on it, so I realized the movie was not good. And then my favorite guy, Dave, what's his name? David Icke came out and he said it's all propaganda. So
he said it's a psyop. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
What did David Icke say? Because I didn't watch.
David's like they're not benevolent. He's like the ones who are in control of this planet and the elite are malevolent. They're evil. So that's why he said it's a psyop. Because the whole premise was for humanity to show more empathy and grow up, like you said.
And David Icke believes that we're run by lizard people, right?
Pretty much, yes. Interdimensional.
He says interdimensional. Lizard people has just become a famous term, but he says like the aliens.
Shapeshifters. Yeah, they're shapeshifters. Yeah.
But they're sort of like from the but this is
no. This is something a lot of things are famous for him, but he just says they are interdimensional being, and he says sometime people witness them in a shape of a reptilian, but he's not saying that they are reptilians. He says some witnesses say that they are reptilian.
But Syd, you are more familiar with David Icke. Does he believe in different races or not?
What do you mean? Different alien races?
Not species.
Yeah, he does. But they don't have any power here.
Yeah. But his whole idea is that they are trapping our soul here. The moment you die, they capture your soul and send it back. This is more like
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing what John Lear said, that there's a soul trap on the moon. But what David Icke says that Saturn, the planet Saturn, actually runs the holographic reality, here on Earth. That's what Saturn is there for. That's why the religions, everything is a cube, which is in the northern hemisphere or the North Pole of Saturn is a cube. So he says Judaism, and then you have the Kaaba in Mecca, and then also the cross can be folded into a cube. When you unfold a cube, it looks like a cross. So he says that. But that our entire reality is a matrix, that we have these interdimensional.
If you look into old religions, the villain name is always Saturn, right?
Set, like Egypt too, right? Isn't Set,
like Saturn is also like even in the Greek mythology, Roman, the father of Zeus was Saturn, and then Zeus defeated him. It's always like Saturn is the evil.
It's so weird, man. And even like the Electric Universe said that Saturn was our original sun, and that this new sun came, and then Saturn moved, which goes with the mythology, like you said, the Greek mythology, because Saturn was shackled, right, and imprisoned, and that's what we can see with the rings. That the rings is shackling this entity.
And it's also interesting because Saturn is closely related to the idea of time. So
time,
remote viewing and all these psi powers actually say that time is an illusion, basically an imprisonment of some kind. So time and matter and time. I mean, like Donald Hoffman, his research also shows that our reality might really be like a headset. And time and space might be an illusion that keeps us locked up.
I think his research is really close to reality. Hoffman is very interesting. All right, so this is Fravor. He is the pilot that encountered the Nimitz UFO. So this goes to your point, Syd, that what you said about disclosure, that something is happening behind closed doors, and he knows it as well.
I think it's only a matter of time. And the reason I say that is there's so much momentum. The genie's not getting back in the bottle. I will say this. There are people inside the government that do not want this out. And they'll hide under its national security. Telling the world that we're not alone is not national security. Telling the world that we've retrieved crash objects. Just show us Roswell. That thing crashed. Just show us. And I think it's just a matter of time until the government comes out. And I don't want them to go, look, we've got this thing we reverse engineering or whatever. You don't need to disrupt national security. Just be honest and say, look, we've known for the last 80 plus years that we're not alone. We recovered stuff at Roswell. That's all. I think people deserve that. I think the world deserves that. I think it's only a matter of time. And the reason I say,
yeah, see, but it is because it will disrupt the agenda of Greater Israel and all that. If that's why having other beings and other civilizations more advanced, I guess more wealthy, you can say, kind of says there's other chosen people out there, and they
hilarious though.
They can't have that.
Just to go back to David Icke, does he say that other species are also malevolent, or does he make a distinction?
No. He said the species which is controlling Earth is
okay. Check.
Here, should we pull up that? Let's pull up that post actually by David Icke, so you can listen to it.
It's a long 10 minutes.
Hey, and I also have another question for both of you. So one of we started with it, but one of the things that I noticed, we also have Finance Meets Faith. It's a show on Bitcoin Live, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. Which is very much from a Christian perspective, which I respect, even though I don't fully agree with everything. But what I sort of noticed is that the Christian community, especially in America, is very much waking up to what's going on right now, and they're pushing back. And we already saw sort of this whole "are aliens demons" thing going on, which was interesting. But you actually have within the Christian community a large segment which actually doesn't want disclosure at all. Yeah, because they believe that it would sort of open gates to hell, probably.
Yep.
And so how do you guys look at that?
I mean, that's the Collins elite, so-called Collins elite. They're called. They're evangelical Christians. I mean, I think they're misinformed. I think they're either protecting the group that has all the secrets, right? Because they deserve it and no one else deserves it, or they actually believe that if we acknowledge the Antichrist, then the Antichrist will enter this world, right? That's like
he will gain power over us.
No, but they are already worshiping it. It's called Israel, right? So they are definitely protecting that group, and that's it. Those people, but in general, the big Christianity is like 2 billion people, right? You're talking about 50 million people who are like that, but rest of it is they are open to it.
Yeah, I mean, the Catholic Church has been always ahead of this.
That's was actually my where I wanted to take it. Right?
And Mormons, they
believe in aliens.
Yes, exactly. They say God. Yeah, they say God is an alien and Jesus is an alien, and that they believe that when you transcend this world and you're good, your heaven, basically God gives you an entire planet to yourself, right? That's heaven. Yeah,
that's true. By the way, I read these kind of stories in other religions too.
That is actually also what Swedenborg said.
Did you want to watch this? It's 10
minutes.
It's a 10 minutes, so we have to skip it.
Okay.
All right.
And I said beforehand it would be a psyop, and my goodness me, that's what it turned out to be. I said in the last few days of 2025 that 2026 would be the year of the alien. Why? Because I started to see that Steven Spielberg was putting out this movie, Disclosure Day, and it would fit perfectly with what we've been seeing for the last few years now, which is a gradual, if you like, authority acceptance of UFOs, UAPs, and alien life as a possibility. Now, I remember back in the 1990s, when I was traveling around America, that the authority dismissal of the whole idea was constant. Everything from weather balloons to, oh, you're talking about little green men. No, I'm actually not. I'm talking about a non-human force operating ultimately from another dimension that is manipulating and controlling, as indeed created the simulated reality that we think is real. And that dismissal went on, and then suddenly the rhetoric changed. And just within literally weeks of saying that 2026 would be the year of the alien because of the Spielberg film, because they were going to hook it to that for sure, you had the Trump regime and the Pentagon announcing they were going to release more and more footage of what we used to call UFOs and the possible existence of alien life. And so what you can do when you are seeking to manipulate the population with a fake story about alien activity is you can either make them terrified of the aliens coming, or you can go another way and make people sympathetic, empathetic, and accepting of a benevolent non-human force. And what Spielberg has done is go the second way. So what you see in Disclosure Day is a very sympathetic portrayal of non-human activity and a very empathetic kind of portrayal. And indeed, the word empathy comes up in relation to these this non-human race that is, again, portrayed in the film. It's like the aliens have empathy and they're telling humans they don't have empathy and they need to have empathy or the world will go the way it's going. And that is an absolute inversion of the situation. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other life out there. I have no doubt there is, that is benevolent. But the manipulators of human society, human reality, human perception of reality, are not benevolent. They are anything but. They are empathy deleted. So you can see the inversion in the film where the aliens are empathetic as opposed to humans who are not. And so we are seeing the perceptual preparation of people for the acceptance of non-human life in the film's portrayal, an empathetic, sympathetic portrayal, but in other ways they will use fear as a weapon against humanity too. So the fact that we are having these disclosures, this disclosure footage of, oh, what's this? We can't explain it. And the Spielberg film out at the same time is clearly and obviously no accident. And what is going to happen is this movie will trigger a lot of interest, a lot of discussion and debate about the alien presence, exactly as it's meant to do. And it will be, all of it, including the government disclosure, it will be a misdirection, this film certainly is, a misdirection of what's actually happening. And what is that? That we have a reality that we think is real, we think is solid and physical, when actually it's not. And more scientists are beginning to grasp that fact, not least through quantum physics, but also through the increasing realization that this reality is some kind of simulation. And it is. And it's being created to enslave us by enslaving our perception. Everything is control of perception because from perception comes behavior. And where does perception come from? It comes from information received. And this is what censorship is all about. This is what directing the narrative is all about. It's about manipulating perception to see reality, self, the world in the way that this force wants us to see it. And so this is a very significant addition to that with this Spielberg movie. And it's no surprise to me whatsoever that it's a complete misdirection of the truth. It's also, watching it, a very cheesy story.
Yes, I mean, it's Spielberg, of course it's cheesy, but this is classic. This is classic David Icke. And, you know, I have a soft spot for him. He woke me up a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think the truth will set you free was the first book I read of his. Yeah,
so
great book.
I still like him. I know he's wrong about certain things, and that's fine. He's a human being. He can have wrong opinions, and he can be mistaken about anything. But yeah, in general, he is trying to help humanity, and his message has a lot of validity.
Yeah, it does. And it goes back to what Hoffman says, that Ike said that. He goes, everything we see is not real. There's nothing there. Hoffman says that, quantum physics says that, science is catching up to that fact. So there has to be controllers behind the scene, right? And many people have gone into this.
And holographic universe is a scientific model.
Yeah,
it's not just like a fiction. It's scientists are doing the research on that theory as well.
The problem sort of that I have with Ike in this case particularly is, so first of all, he was sort of arguing that most of it was controlled through fear.
Mm-hmm.
And now he suddenly flips the other way around and says, if you use love or empathy, that's also control, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of I do think that's a little bit of a problem within the UFO space as a whole, right? Because if your starting point is that everything is manipulated by an evil cabal,
mm-hmm.
right? That's usually the starting point from people within the UFO space.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's your, absolute starting point, then you can flip anything, any way you want, and say everything that you see by anyone that you don't like is control, right?
Yeah.
So we do have to be more rigorous in sort of our pre-assumptions and our sort of the things that we think about before we sort of that we examine those before we sort of draw conclusions, because I don't know Spielberg.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's Jewish, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's no secret. He's closely connected, I believe, to the UFO file through, he actually
100%. Yeah, 100%.
References Jacques Vallée is one of his characters in Close Encounters, right? So that says enough, I think, that he has been connected and contacted within. And I think also Jake Barber makes the point about music playing a role, which is, within Close Encounters.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's no accident. So I think this and the timing, I absolutely agree with David Icke that the timing is no accident. And I've been saying to Syd, I think in Trump 2 there will be disclosure. I've been saying that for since he was elected. So that all makes sense. But I'm a little bit wary, when people use both fear and empathy to argue the same point, and then throw everybody they don't like on the same mountain of people that they don't like, to disqualify them. Because I think, in looking back on Spielberg's career, I love Close Encounters. I love.
Oh, me too.
Park,
Have you ever watched the miniseries Taken?
I haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, but I did see, for example, his movie of the Twilight.
Yeah, he did some good stuff back in the day, but then he ruined Indiana Jones. Don't forget that. He ruined Star Wars as well. So, seriously, maybe in his early days he was amazing. Right now, I just hate him, especially after Indiana Jones.
I mean, I agree with you when it comes to the quality of his films have degraded greatly.
It's not the quality. I don't care. I'm just saying the way they distort. Why are you making Indiana Jones about a chick?
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
George Lucas was actually involved in that.
No,
movie.
George Lucas is George Lucas movie, but he was the producer. It's Spielberg.
Yeah, but apparently George Lucas did pull some major decisions in that movie. By making it about aliens. Apparently Spielberg wasn't planning to do that.
Oh, really? I didn't know
they
that.
both trust me, they both were working together. Anyway, let's go to the interesting one. Nordics. Your people, Nick, you're close to them.
I mean, Trump is a tall dude, and they're taller than him. Many are saying it's not AI, but I don't.
Yeah, but that's also the funny thing, right? I mean, let's just imagine that this is not AI. That this is actually a real picture.
This is definitely AI, by the way.
Yeah,
anyway.
But just for the sake of arguments, let's say it's a real picture. Who would believe this if they see the picture?
I mean,
No,
I don't
It's
know
like a
who's,
genuine, real picture.
I don't know who's in charge of his social media. With Putin. Oh my
I mean, of
God.
course, I'm not saying it's a real picture, and of course, it's a lot of fun. But the point is, if we actually see something that is real and it doesn't fit our narrative or our belief system, we will discard it as fake by definition.
No,
Yeah.
but this is hilarious. Nick sent this one as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, people are having so much fun with this.
And that's also my point earlier when I made, that they need to take baby steps, because if you release alien bodies, if you like release alien bodies like straight away, then people will simply tune out.
Yeah, and do
play,
this stuff.
play it. Yeah.
Or this
We
is
can continue and we can watch it.
This is Chupacabra.
We are building a fantastic future, better than anyone has ever seen.
There have been reports of a new alien species said to be similar to the tall whites in many ways, except for a few key ones.
And what is this new species called?
I can see her ass in that sundress. Pork chops bland, but the pussy wet. I ain't fucking with a skinny bitch for longer than a minute. I need ways when I beat it up. Bring your homegirl if she with it. Pale skin, sunburns, better keep her in the bed. She knows every Taylor Swift song, but the bitch gives sloppy head. Now I'm leaving, I'm a rolling stone. Gotta go and get it, but she tweaking, says she wants some more. So I gotta hit it.
You said you actually witnessed beings coming out of the crowd. Can you describe them?
Yeah, them bitches was thicker than honey and white as hell.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah, this is the problem. AI is so good that even if you see a real photo now, nobody gonna believe it.
Yeah. I mean, we live in the time that they can actually get rid of their disguises, right? Because they don't need them anymore, because people won't even believe it if you share the pictures with AI. And also with all the craziness in the world as it sort of breaks down or goes through these growth pangs as the new world is birthed. As we speak, right? So I think we're sort of going in this situation where if there are aliens and hybrids and whatever, I think they can sort of discard their disguises. I think they're no longer necessary.
Yeah.
All right, so I
But
guess
even for hybrids, I think they look like humans. So
the hybrids definitely, they kind of look like humans, yeah. So we can end on this. Breaking, no surprise, White House tasks Dr. Avi Loeb to create a UAP Science Advisory Council with astrophysicists, AI experts, and human psychologists. The council will assist U.S. government agencies to include ODNI, FBI, and AARO in determining the nature of UAPs. And of course, just on track for this administration, they put an Israeli spy in charge of this. What else would this administration do? I've been
White House
watching
to Tel Aviv. I guess that's the only thing remaining.
Yeah, exactly. And as we said before, Avi Loeb has talked about the Messiah from space, and he's a Unit 8200 graduate, so he's actually a spy and a Israeli agent. And the White House is putting him in charge of this advisory, probably so they can probably craft the narrative where Israel can benefit.
But is it also not interesting to look back and see how Avi Loeb sort of grew through the years from sort of like a fringe astrophysicist who sort of started talking about Oumuamua, and then he sort of built his career, and then he did the Galileo project, and then now, I mean, I agree with you guys that it's planned, but look, from if people are out there and they believe in reality as it's constructed, then they say, yeah, obviously Avi Loeb would be like the the obvious choice, right?
I mean,
no.
I mean,
No.
there's so many options. Why do they have to choose the Israeli agent that I've been warning about for 3 years?
Most Nick, the problem is you don't see it, but because you still have to wake up your eyes.
No. But like I said, I agree
No.
with you guys. But I mean, the way that he was.
He is not qualified at all. He's a known scammer who scammed hundreds of millions of dollars of people for doing his yard holidays in the name of searching for the UFOs and whatever. He's a known scammer. He's not qualified to do anything. He was propped up to do it. It was all
but that's what I'm arguing. I mean, like, if you look from the outside in, if you're not us and you look at it with innocent eyes, then he would be the obvious choice, right?
No,
because he is.
still no. He's not. He's been wrong so many times about Oumuamua and all those things. Like, he just recently fooled everyone about that. Oh, aliens are coming, and this was that, and it was just a rock.
No,
he
didn't
is the
say,
least qualified person.
He didn't
to
say
run
aliens
this
were
thing.
coming. He just said that Allah's tree eye is a very unusual rock.
It's all about implying. He was constantly implying, and he dragged so many scientists in with his hypothesis. So yeah, I don't think he's the right person to do. They're like, you think out of 300 million Americans, you will pick a foreign nation or foreign agent?
Right, that's the problem.
This is the biggest problem. He's he doesn't even have American accent, right?
But Syd, I'm not saying he's the right person.
What I'm saying, because he's not even a good spy, because he doesn't even have a proper accent.
But I understand where Nick is coming from. The guy's Harvard, and he wrote a book about Oumuamua. He was the one pushing 3i Atlas, right? That whole thing.
Was wrong. He was wrong about everything.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying the guy's not wrong, but like he has a profile, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to say Gary Nolan, but here Gary Nolan's part of this.
But Gary Nolan is, of course, also a spy.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, but he's our spy.
True. That's true.
That's true. Now, Scapefish, that's cool. This is the guy from the Soul Foundation.
Yeah.
Nolan started. Gail Odette is on there. Michael Shermer. Are you
Michael
kidding?
Shermer? Oh my fucking god! This is. My blood is boiling right now.
Why is this guy in there?
This guy?
Yeah,
no, he's more open-minded than.
How many of them are for the chosen ones here? Most of them.
Who's this guy? Omer Eldadi, another Israeli.
I just look for his name. I don't find anything about him.
I mean, the only one on this list that I really would feel good about was Tim Gallaudet. I like him, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, I like Gallaudet too. Gallaudet's a cool guy.
But he also, at one of his interviews with Jesse Jones, I think it is, he goes into the Gallaudet family has a long history tree as well. He's clearly connected to sort of like very rich and powerful families.
Oh my God, this Omar Eldadi guy works with Avi Loeb. Look at this paper, a framework for applying the Loeb-Turner slope test.
See, this is why the problem. Like, he's just bringing on all his Tories, basically.
Yeah. That's
And then it's so, I think, embarrassing that he's in charge of Gary Nolan. I hate Gary Nolan, but like, he is more qualified than Avi Loeb.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, because Nolan was brought into the program. Avi Loeb, they didn't want to bring him into the program. Avi Loeb worked together with who? Sean Kirkpatrick. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go so far as that to say I hate these people, because I don't know these people, and I actually do enjoy.
I'm not saying I hate these people. I'm saying Gary Nolan. I don't like that person, but like, he's the only qualified person here. If anyone who should be leading this group, it should be Gary Nolan.
Yeah, Gallaudet's good. I don't know who this guy is, or this guy. We should look them up.
Michael Shermer is so hilarious to have his name here.
But they're hijacking the narrative. I'm pretty sure they are. I would love.
Who is Richard Cloet?
Hey, we lost him.
Gallaudet, he's the Navy guy.
No, not Gallaudet. The first one, Richard Collette.
Oh, Richard. Here, let's check him out. Richard Cloet.
And also the second one.
No, first one. Yeah, he's selected the correct one.
Richard Cloet. Oh, he's the Galileo Project. Oh my God. He's bringing in his team. He's bringing in his team so he can benefit. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
And the second one?
Let me go back to the list. Where is it? Here it is. This guy. Let's check out this guy.
Might be a lady.
Dr. Regina Sarmiento, General Medicine. Oh, so it is Avi again. So he's choosing all these people.
Yeah, this is why. Oh man, I'm just so pissed, and especially F the U.S. government right now for doing this kind of betrayal to their own people.
I know it's not enough. You know, they have